chapter, which is chapter 3. So we saw a summary. I mean, don't you'll gradually understand Bhagavad Gita. Don't think that now I should know everything. Why am I not, having it, understanding everything or remember everything perfectly? Because remember that even Arjuna, he'll be asking questions. He's very confused after hearing the second chapter. He did not understand Krishna's instructions perfectly. So that is why he's asking questions. Remember, he went through 18 chapters and then only he surrendered. So it will take some time to understand this topic. So today we are going to do third chapter, verses 1 to 9, the first section. So because here, we'll understand Arjuna's questions, because in chapter 2, Krishna explained too many parts. One is Sankhya Yoga. In the beginning, he was telling about what is matter, what is body, all these things. Yeah, we saw what are the qualities of a soul, and so why you should not feel sorry, at the death of anyone, because it's only a temporary body, all these things. And then he talked about Buddhi Yoga. We saw that, how we should work only for the satisfaction of Krishna, without any fruit of desire. We saw Karma Nivadikaraste verse also. And Krishna was saying you should do your duty and not think about the results. So, and because he talked of Buddhi Yoga, he thought that Buddhi refers to intelligence, and Krishna was, Krishna's order would mean that he should, by using his intelligence, avoid all abominable activities. That's what he's saying. Krishna said, avoid all abominable activities. And then finally, in the last verse, he says, no, before, in the text 49, he says, O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. So he's very confused. He thinks that keeping all abominable activities includes fighting in the war. It's a material thing. So he's thinking that by doing devotional service, I'll keep far away from this war. Why is he asking me to fight finally? So he's not understood clearly what is Krishna consciousness. And so he will ask all these questions. Arjuna thinks that karma and jnana are not compatible. That means karma you do for sense gratification, jnana is for renunciation. This is his idea. Actually, karma and jnana we should work together. Let me do my prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnanajnanashalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminati Namne Nama Acharya Padaya Natai Kripa Pradayane Kaurakata Damdaya Navigram Tarne Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminati Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharne Nirvisesh Sunyavadi Paschat Deshtarne Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So that is what, so now he's asking the first question. Arjuna said, O Janardana, O Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? If you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work. So Karma Yoga, he thought, is fruitive work, and Jnana Yoga is renunciation with knowledge. So he thinks if you get knowledge, then you should renounce work. Why should you work? This is his idea. He doesn't know that you can have full knowledge, self-knowledge, everything, and still work. You should work because the attachment runs very, very deep. So by doing work in a detached way, then we can purify our consciousness. So Prabhupada says, Buddhi Yoga is Bhakti Yoga, but it literally means the yoga of Buddhi or intelligence. Okay, so Prabhupada says, Arjuna thought of Krishna consciousness or Buddhi Yoga, intelligence and spiritual advancement of knowledge, as something like retirement from active life and the practice of penance and austerity at a secluded place. In other words, he wanted to skillfully avoid the fighting by using Krishna consciousness as an excuse. But as a sincere student, he placed the matter before his master and questioned Krishna as to his best course of action. In answer, Lord Krishna elaborately explained Karma Yoga, of work in Krishna consciousness. So actually, Karma Yoga is also Buddhi Yoga because you're connecting with the Lord. So Arjuna was confused. He thought that getting jnana means going to a secluded place, doing tapasya. That's the idea. They think that, generally people also think spiritual life means renunciation. You have to leave everything and go in one place, secluded place. That's why people are afraid of spiritual life. They think that we have to renounce. So Arjuna also thought like that. But actually, Krishna was not asking him to do that at all. In fact, he was telling him to fight. So that is why he is explaining Karma Yoga. So you'll understand with every successive chapter, you'll understand Bhagavad Gita a little more. Okay. Now this text 2. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. So he thinks that, Karma Yoga means doing work in an attached way, and Jnana Yoga means renouncing and going away. And he thinks that Krishna is not clearly saying which is better for him. Equivocal. He feels he's given importance to both. And so he asks Krishna, can you tell me decisively which will be beneficial for me? So now Krishna understands that Arjuna is Krishna did not want to confuse Arjuna. But Arjuna could not follow the process of Krishna consciousness. It all happens even in the beginning when devotees, they are following everything and, they begin their devotional service, but, they think that it means that I have to retire from material activities. So they lose interest in all material activities, even in their jobs temporarily, because of same confusion like Arjuna. Arjuna could not follow the process of Krishna consciousness, either by inertia or by active service. In other words, by his questions, he's clearing the path of Krishna consciousness for all students who seriously want to understand the mystery of Bhagavad Gita. So all his confusion is for our sake. Then, text 3. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation and others by devotional service. So, karma and jnana are two platforms or stages on the path to transcendental consciousness. So when we are in the path of karma or, a karma stage, then active work is recommended. And someone who has come to the jnana stage, sufficiently purified and detached, then he can renounce work. They are not two separate processes, jnana yoga and karma yoga, but they are different steps in the same path. So karma yoga leads to jnana yoga. So depending on how much faith we have depending on our purity and attachment, different processes are recommended. So now, so he thinks that, all problems can be solved if by just renunciation. But we know it is not true, because you will give up everything, but your mind will still be dwelling on this. So it is better to, so depending upon our level of attachment, we should choose the path. And so then Krishna also says what happens due to premature renunciation. And he's saying there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. And again, Arjuna will ask which is better. So Krishna will be very clear about it, which is better. And, and here Prabhupada is saying, so one is Sankhya Yoga, or the analytical study of nature and spirit and matter. It is the subject matter for persons who are inclined to speculate and understand things by experimental knowledge and philosophy. People like philosophy; they just like to sit and speculate and discuss philosophy. There are the other class of men; they like to be active and work in Krishna consciousness. The Buddhi Yoga is said, do work for my satisfaction, and in this way your intelligence will be linked to Krishna. And so Krishna has said that by working by the principles of Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness, one can be relieved from the bonds of action. And there is no flaw in the process. And then Prabhupada is saying that the Buddhi Yoga, so in the 61st verse of 2nd chapter, it says that Buddhi Yoga is to depend entirely on the Supreme, or specifically on Krishna. And in this way, all the senses can be brought under control very easily. So that is you're engaging the senses. That is the a special privilege. In Karma Yoga, what happens? You don't have to think, oh, I must stop this sense. I must not think about that. I must not taste. I must not hear, because my senses will be agitated. No, you are using all the senses, and at the same time, because you're developing attachment to Krishna is the goal. So you're able to gradually control the senses very easily. So there is no flaw in that process. So, but then both yogas are interdependent as religion and philosophy. Religion without philosophy is sentiment. So if you think that Karma Yoga is like religion, some rules and regulations you're following, and the other one is mainly thinking about philosophy and so on. So both are interdependent. You should have both. Religion, I mean, following some rules and all that without understanding the philosophy will lead to fanaticism, because you don't even know why you're doing it, but you think whatever I'm doing is perfect, and then you won't even know, you can't understand other people's how they are doing, you cannot see the connection, and so you'll think everybody is wrong, only what I'm doing is correct. So it leads to fanaticism. Religion without philosophy. And while philosophy without religion is mental speculation, because we need some religious, directions coming from the Shastras. If you just rely on the mind, you'll keep on speculating and speculating and not arrive at the truth. So both have to be interdependent. The ultimate goal is Krishna, because the philosophers were also sincerely searching after the absolute truth, come in the end to Krishna consciousness. This is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita. The whole process is to understand the real position of the self in relation to the super self. That is what we're trying. Yoga also is that. Who am I? And what's my connection with the supreme self, with God? The indirect process is philosophical speculation, by which gradually one may come to the point of Krishna consciousness, and the other process is directly connecting everything in Krishna consciousness. Of these two, the path of Krishna consciousness is better, because it does not depend on purifying the senses by philosophical process. Krishna consciousness is itself the purifying process. And by the direct method of devotional service, it is simultaneously easy and very sublime. So of the two paths, actually, some people, very few people are attracted to just sit and speculate philosophy all the time. Most people prefer the direct process, and that is the better one also. The speculation is not good, but he's saying, but we also have jnana. We should understand the philosophy also, like we're studying the Bhagavad Gita. Without studying, we just do work, and that's not enough. We'll just become fanatic. And those who are just speculating, if they're not following something, at least in devotional service, then they will become, first of all, it's very dry, and simply they'll be on the mental platform without arriving at the conclusive truth. Okay, so that is why both are interdependent. Text 4. Not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. So why he is saying that you should not prematurely renounce or retire, because simply if you stop working doesn't mean you can achieve freedom from reaction. Karma will come. Normally people think, if I act only, karma comes. No, so Arjuna thought, if I fight in the war, then I'll get sinful reactions. If I go away from the war, then no reactions. That's what he thought. But no, karma is there. Even if you're not okay, maybe that much karma is not there, but anyway, you're not free from reactions. Not by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. So if we want perfection, even to maintain the body, we have to eat. Now if you're not doing anything and just sitting and just eating, then that also gives karma, because first of all, because you're enjoying without offering to Krishna, or doing so, and your mind and senses are active, and in order to control that, how will you, because they'll overpower. And so in this way there will be some karma, you'll be forced to do something. So in that way also, so not by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. Whereas the Mayavadi sannyasis, those on the jnani path, they also in the beginning they try to regulate themselves a bit, and then they have to take sannyas. Straight away sannyas, then only you'll get perfection. And because of that, it's very, very tough. Unless you're purified, you'll fall down. There are so many sannyasis falling down because um, without purification of heart, sannyasa is simply a disturbance to the social order. On the other hand, if someone takes to the transcendental service of the Lord, even without discharging his prescribed duties, whatever he may be able to advance in the cause is accepted by the Lord. Buddhi Yoga. Apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bayat. Even a slight performance of such a principle enables one to overcome great difficulties. So he's saying that somebody may be a sannyasi, but then his heart may not be purified, and he still may have many material desires. And it's a question of time when he contacts that particular whatever attachment he has, and then he will completely, his senses will leap out, and he will indulge in that. Better than that is someone who is doing his work. Okay, he is not taken sannyas, he is not claiming that he's very renounced, but he's doing the work, and he's connecting, linking the work with Krishna consciousness, then he's better situated. And that is Buddhi Yoga. And we saw Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bayat. Even a slight performance of such a principle enables one to overcome great difficulties. Because why? Because you're connected with Krishna from the very beginning. Whereas a jnani, he's not connected to Krishna. He's just philosophizing, he's just learning the philosophy, he's speculating, maybe this, maybe that, what is matter, what is the. So he's not, it takes a long time before he can understand Krishna. And that is what it's mentioned in the 7th chapter. Bahunam and Janmanam ante Jnanavan ma prapadyate Vasudevam sarvamiti sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. After many, many births, a jnani comes to the understanding that Vasudeva or Krishna is everything. And such a Mahatma, he's a Mahatma, one who understands that. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Such a great Mahatma is very, very rare. One who, so Jnani takes many, many births. Whereas from the very beginning in Krishna consciousness, we are using our senses to please Krishna. So because we're chanting the names and because we are thinking of Krishna and doing our activities, from the very beginning, we are connected to Krishna. So it is much easier also to perform. Then even a little bit of doing this enables one to overcome great difficulties. Nahi kaschid kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit karyate hi avasha karma sarva prakriti jair gunai. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities is acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So another reason why he's saying that karma yoga is better than just renouncing and doing gyan. I mean, just speculating, because everybody's got these modes of material nature, which forces us to act helplessly according to the qualities we have acquired. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Right? Is it possible to just sit? No, everybody cannot go and do Ashtanga yoga, sit in the forest and meditate. In today's world, nobody can do that. They just do 1 hour maximum or 2 hours in a day and they think they are yogis. No, yogi means non-stop yoga. And you have to sit in one place. Very difficult. So, uh, why? Because of the modes of material nature, which pull us to, desire some things or act in some certain ways. And here, so Prabhupada explains in the purport, it's not a question of embodied life, but it's the nature of the soul also to be always active. So activity is not this thing. We may think that somebody can sit quietly in one place and meditate, he's the highest. No. Once we are purified, the soul is always active. Without the presence of the spirit soul, the material body cannot move. As such, the spirit.
Mataji,
Yeah.
you said that there is karma yoga to work in Krishna consciousness, do
Yes.
work. There is Gyan yoga to get knowledge.
Yes.
Uh, uh, Bhakti yoga, doesn't it comes means as a combination of karma yoga and Gyan yoga, then Bhakti comes? Or
Yes. Step by step. I will tell you. Everything is included. In Krishna consciousness, all are included. Karma yoga is included, Jnana yoga is included, everything. Even meditation, Ashtanga, all the features of all the yogas are there in Bhakti Yoga. That is why, at final thing, we learn about Bhakti Yoga. 6 chapters takes up to Dhyana Yoga, and then the middle 6 chapters, 7 to 12, is all about Bhakti Yoga.
but is it true that for come to devotional service or bhakti yoga, one
Hmm.
requires a lot of purification?
Yeah, normally, yes. Many, many lifetimes it takes. But in this age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. He knows in Kali Yuga, first of all, our lifespan is not so high to do all these things. And we don't have the inclination also for spiritual life. And, we're very restless. We don't do all that. That is why he's given the process of Hare Krishna chanting. Actually, we make great progress. If we are
But
sincerely,
the people who have less sins or who are more purified must have taken chanting.
what people who are?
Who are more pious or more purified must be able to take up chanting.
No,
So
it is not that. It is just association. Sometimes, see, because this is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, that it doesn't matter, even if we have not done any pious activities, we have been only doing all sinful activities, and we never went to the temple or church or anything. But somehow, when some devotee comes and talks about it, in our soul, we get attracted. It is on the spiritual level. So it's by the mercy of a devotee, because a devotee keeps on trying to attract a person, He doesn't see, oh, this person is an atheistic type of person. He's not even going to the temple. I won't talk to him. No. The devotee reaches out to him and connects with his soul and attracts him to Krishna. That's how Nityananda Prabhu did. Now he went to Jagai and Madai. What pious activity they did? They always, whole life, they did abominable, sinful activities. They didn't have any way, and they were so angry with Nityananda for telling them about chanting. And they came to murder him, in fact. So, but a devotee's mercy is what somehow the soul gets. You pray to Krishna, you attract him, and you engage him in devotional service. And before long, he starts chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Then automatically all the sins are destroyed. So that is why this is a very magic formula.
No, but just one more question. Yeah, Hare Krishna Mahamantra cleanses the heart, but isn't it true that Jagai Madai must be pious activities of previous birth might be more, or in this birth they were fallen, so they were able to take to the process that they fully surrendered to the Lord. That
No, it
is.
was not because of their qualifications at all. It was just mercy. Because in this age, when Advaita Acharya, he invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come to this earth. So Krishna comes in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he says that, my Lord, in this age, you should give first mercy to the most fallen people, the most downtrodden people, because in the other ages, you've been giving mercy only to qualified people, those who have had pious activities, who did a lot of sukriti and all that. But in this age, you must benefit those who have no chance. You have to give special mercy to them. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, okay, tatastu. And then he said, and also one thing, those who are very proud about their pious activities, knowledge and all, don't give them your mercy. So that is what it's sure just goes by mercy. In fact, if you're very pious and very qualified, you may be very proud and think, I don't need mercy, then you won't get. I mean, you may think, I'm I'm better than other people. I don't commit sinful activities. I have so much knowledge. That is a disqualification, especially in this age. If you want Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, you just have to become humble and just ask him for it and he will give you. He will not ask you, what have you done so far? You just have to desire it. And if you find, of course, everybody struggles in the beginning because it's such a powerful process. He is putting us directly in touch of Krishna. And so that's a little difficult. No, Krishna is so pure and we've been fully engaged in material activities. That is why it's very difficult to chant Hare Krishna mantra in the beginning. It's very simple and easy and at the same time difficult because we are contacting the supreme pure Krishna directly before, it's easier to contact other mantras which are referring to some devatas and all. But to chant Krishna mantra directly, Hare Krishna mantra, very, very pure. It is the topmost mantra which is chanted by the gopis in Vrindavan. Can you imagine such a pure mantra? He is giving it to us. And we've been attached to all materialistic things. So we find, oh, the mind will be rebelling. I don't want to chant. Oh, I'm feeling sleepy. I'm thinking of so many things. That is why the struggle is there for Hare Krishna mantra. But you should not mind because even you're struggling and chanting, the mantra is purifying you because you are coming in close contact with Krishna. And by praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he will keep on helping us by giving us more taste. And it's sheer mercy. In this age, only mercy works, nothing else. And Panchatattva mantra is so powerful. I don't know if I shared with you that. No, maybe not. Prabhupada sent Brahmananda Swami first to go to Africa and to make devotees. So normally their method is to go do Sankirtana and people get attracted by hearing the chanting and then they come and listen to the lectures and then slowly they join. Now, in Africa, he wrote a report to Prabhupada that we're all doing kirtan and chanting, but nobody's becoming devotees, Prabhupada. Nobody's getting attracted to the holy name. Why? And Prabhupada said, oh, okay, Africa, you need special mercy because the lifestyle is like that. They're not able to chant. They're not able to be attracted to Hare Krishna mantra. So over there, you chant mostly only Panchatattva mantra. Actually, because of Panchatattva mantra only, we are also able to progress in chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Otherwise, very difficult, to concentrate like that. After some time, we'll feel sleepy, bored. Oh, I don't want. But because we're chanting Panchatattva mantra, because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, then we are getting taste more and more. And he started chanting Panchatattva mantra, more Sankirtan in that. And then within a few months, they had temples and so many African brahmacharis joining in and living full time in the temple. And Prabhupada was amazed. I mean, of course, it was his suggestion only, and he went there also. So our spiritual life depends on mercy only. In this age, Kali Yuga, very, very difficult. First of all, we are so short of time and so many people dissuading us. No, 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 don't do the spiritual path. There are so many people who will dissuade us from doing it. And then our own attachments are there. So many obstacles. It is like, it is mentioned in Kali Yuga to do Bhakti Yoga is like lighting a matchstick in a tempest or in a storm. The storm, the rain, wind, everything is coming, and that time you're trying to light a lamp, or light a matchstick outside. Very difficult, right? You have to close, so much shelter you have to give, and so on. So that is how it is. And so we need the mercy. Only by mercy we can progress. When all different
So
countries,
that means we should pray to Mahaprabhu Chaitanya to give us mercy.
yes, that is the trick. Yes. Okay. Then now he's telling what is the down point, or what is the disadvantages of just renouncing and trying to do Jnana Yoga. He says, one who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on those sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. See, because it's very difficult to suddenly give up sense gratification, but you just say, no, I want to renounce and I want to become a sannyasi. And then you're sitting to meditate, but when you close your eyes, you're thinking of all the enjoyment you had. And then outside, they'll think, oh, very nice, sannyasi is meditating. But inside, I'm thinking of same things, what all my enjoyment I had. So that means he's a cheater, he's a pretender. His knowledge has no value because the effects of such a sinful man's knowledge are taken away by the illusory energy of the Lord. Maya will come and tempt him and make him fall down. Such a pretender's mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever. That is why this don't be a pretender or cheater. Do whatever, okay, I like doing this, I'll do it. But then gradually by chanting Hare Krishna, by connecting with Krishna, doing little by little, we are progressing. That's better. Krishna says, on the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. And Prabhupada says, a householder can also reach this destination by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. For self-realization, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the Shastras and continue carrying out his business without attachment, and in that way make progress. Yesterday, I think Mr. Shiva Raman, what's the name? Is he come? Sairaj. Shivanarayan Prabhu. He had this question that, oh, do we have to, if we take to Krishna consciousness, that means material life, oh, we won't have. No. He's saying that be regulated. That is there in all religions and everything. You have to follow some rules that will help us to be regulated. Otherwise, we'll just go berserk. Like in today's world, most of the people don't follow anything. And so they are just crazy. We hear of so many abnormal cases because of this. But if you are regulated, then a householder can also become self-realized by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. A sincere person who follows See, carrying out his business without attachment, and in that way you can make progress. Without attachment means in the beginning, little detachment, not full detachment. Some you're still attached, but a little detached. I mean, you understand the value of spiritual life. That itself means we are detached. Somebody who's a materialist will not like spiritual life at all. He'll say, no, 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 that's not for me. I want to enjoy fully. But if you agree that yes, self-realization is my goal, God realization is my goal, and I want to connect with Krishna, that is detachment. And if you start working in that, you make progress. A sincere person who follows this method is far better situated than the false pretender who adopts show bottle spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. A sincere sweeper in the street is far better than the charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. So, very clearly, it is said that it's better to do your duty sincerely than simply pretend and, act like a renunciate. Krishna is saying, perform your prescribed duty. Text 8. Perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. Very practical, Krishna is. He says, you have to maintain yourself, so perform your duty, work. No problem. Because for doing so is better than not working. Because anyway, you'll be a pretender. Better to rather, Lord desired that Arjuna perform his prescribed duties as set forth for Kshatriyas. Arjuna was a householder and a military general, and therefore it was better for him to remain as such and perform his religious duties as prescribed for the householder Kshatriyas. Such activities gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. Work is very much required. We know how unemployed youth, they only turn to all violence and protests and all kinds of things simply. Why? Because they need to be engaged. And if they're not engaged, then they go crazy. The senses, demand, mind simply goes in different directions. So work is very, very important. Without doing so through prescribed duties, one should never attempt to become a so-called transcendentalist, renouncing work and living at the cost of others. Yeah, only one who is taking to spiritual life very seriously and he has no other material desires, such a person should join the ashram and live for spiritual advancement and also to benefit the society. Prematurely, even if you join the ashram, then you will think, oh, I didn't fulfill my desires of owning money and having this. I wanted a car, I wanted a house. Oh, now, okay, I'll use the ashram money for all that enjoyment. So that sort of thing should not happen. That is cheating. So then, text 9, work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way, you'll always remain free from bondage. So practical, so simple, right? Even by doing our work as a sacrifice, that means for the pleasure of Krishna, then what happens? We'll be free from bondage. That's all. The whole purpose of life is to connect with Krishna. It is Krishna does not, he only has created this world. He has given this body, he has given the senses. And then why will he say, no, don't do anything and then just keep quiet? No, because we desired it, we wanted to enjoy this material world. He's given us this opportunity. At the same time, he's saying, connect with me and do even whatever you're enjoying, you do it the way I tell you. So that not only will your desires be fulfilled, but you'll also get purified. And at the end of life, come back to me. It's such a wonderful proposal by Krishna, such a wonderful arrangement. He's very kind.
Mataji,
Yeah.
when we see you, we see that you have a very relaxed mind. So might be in youth we don't have so much relaxed mind, or I don't know. Many people like in office we discuss so much tension, we do meditation and all that. So how
Mhm.
this Hare Krishna mantra helps to relax the mind? So
See, that's got, see, Hare Krishna mantra is Krishna himself, okay, in sound form. You may not understand how it is, but it is. Just accept it, because Shastra is saying, Guru is saying, and sadhus are saying that Hare Krishna, and Krishna himself is saying, Nama Chintamani Rasa Vigraha Purna Mukta Nitya Siddha Abhinnatvam Nama Namino. That means there's no difference. Abhinnatvam means there's no difference. Abhinna, it's not bhinna. The nama and namina, the person and the name, they're non-different. Right now, if I say Shweta, Shweta, if I call you, unless you are there, it's no use. I cannot contact you. If you're not there and I keep saying Shweta, Shweta, you won't appear. But for Krishna, spiritual names are not like that. When you say Krishna, he's there. He's there. It's so easy to contact Krishna. You just chant his name, he's there. And you will become peaceful because his influence will come on us. His name, when you're associating with him, naturally his effect will come on us. No? As we chant, then we become peaceful. So it's not a question of young or old. Yeah, when you're when you're young, your senses are more active, your mind will be more active, you have more ambitions, desires, so many things. That's a fact. But Hare Krishna is very, very powerful. That if you just associate with Krishna, he will make your senses more controlled and elevate your consciousness to mode of goodness, so that it's in the mode of passion that all these things, so many different, we are disturbed by so many different things. But as we connect with Krishna, then our spiritual inclinations will become more manifest, and then we'll be able to control the mind. Okay? Because of we are taking the strongest medicine possible, which is the holy name, which is Krishna himself. So remember this, that you're associating with Krishna, and that is why it is such a powerful method to connect with God. Okay?
Okay, Mataji.
Okay. All right. So, and now we'll stop. We did the 9 verses of this section where Krishna explains how devotional service is superior to renunciation. That's what we saw. Okay, are there any questions or comments? Somebody wanted me to summarize, right? Today we saw, she's not come today. Okay. Anyway, I will just summarize. Today we saw that how, Arjuna was confused about what, he thought, why Krishna is saying, Buddhi Yoga you do. Buddhi Yoga means using your higher intelligence and not doing karma, ordinary activities like fighting and all that. It's abominable. So that is what he thought. And so he asked Krishna, please, can you tell me which is better for me? Very clearly. And so Krishna says there are 2 types of people who like to, who want to understand the truth. Some are inclined to philosophical speculation and some towards karma yoga. But he is clearly saying that it's better. Simply, if you stop work, you cannot get perfection. Freedom from reaction or renunciation alone cannot give you perfection. And so that is why he's explaining to him, it's better to do karma yoga, using your senses actively, but with knowledge. So, and then Prabhupada also explains that religion without philosophy will become fanaticism. So we need philosophy also, understanding of everything, what is body, what is spirit, how the earth world is made, and how Krishna created all this. We need to know, because in order to keep our faith, sustain our faith and act with knowledge. And for them also, philosophers also, they need religion, otherwise it'll become very dry or that's what is and philosophy without religion will be they won't be able to get purified. 1 minute. Religion without philosophy is sentiment or sometimes fanatism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation, which is what they do. They use their own mind. Better to take from Shastra, right? So they also need to do these activities which are given in Shastra. And then, so karma and jnana should be, it's interdependent. And then he's telling him why we should work. Because if your senses are, I mean, you just stop your senses, but in your mind you're meditating on all this, that is just pretending. And that is cheating the public. So he's saying perform your prescribed duty. It's better than not working. You even have to maintain your body. You can't even maintain your body without work. So you do it. But at the same time, you perform the duty for his satisfaction. And in this way, you'll always remain free from bondage. So this is what we did today. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Utkarshini, you want to ask a few questions? And then we'll chant also. How was your chanting? How many people chanted at home?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah. Do you have some questions for them?
Yes, Mataji. Since we have come to third chapter, can I ask about what they know about soul? Because it's quite important. Some 3-4 sentences they can say about soul.
Okay.
What did you understand about soul? So
no, that okay.
Because we learned it in the second chapter.
Okay. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Like what I understood about the concept of soul is eternal, and a soul cannot be annihilated by a fire, or it cannot be cut into pieces, and it cannot be moistened by water, and it cannot be withered by wind. And soul is gives intelligence for us.
Okay. Soul is the one which is living. Yeah, very good. Who's that? Who said that?
Sarvavandya.
Sarvavandya, Mataji.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Without being trained, why we should not chant in a secluded place the Lord's name?
It is
I didn't
just
get the question, Mataji. Sorry.
Yes, who wants to answer?
She wants to know the question. If
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
No, without being trained well, properly, why we should not chant in a very secluded place in the beginning?
If based on today's questions now.
Yes, Mataji, first look out.
Yeah,
Mataji,
not
can go,
about
Mataji.
chanting. He's saying we should not renounce and go to a secluded place without purification of senses. Yeah. Why? Yeah, even chanting, that is true. We shouldn't think that I can be alone and chant. Yeah.
Because
Why?
we will be dwelling on, our senses would be dwelling in mind on those activities. I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have this. So that is artificial renunciation. That is, we are pretending. So we should not renounce without being purified.
Yes. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, and about okay, this Mataji spoke about this fanatism and mental speculation. Can you explain that? It's quite important about religion and philosophy.
How are religion and philosophy connected?
And like that. It's there in the third shloka.
Yeah. What can religion without philosophy, what will it lead to?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Sairaj.
Hare Krishna. So here, religion without philosophy, that is mental speculation. Religion without philosophy, mental speculation will lead to fanatism, and vice versa. Philosophy without religion will lead to the mental speculations. So it's very important to follow the dharma shastras which is written. So both are interdependent on each other, and one should follow it. Without each other, both are dry. Okay, religion without philosophy will lead to a philosophy without religion is dry, and next one will lead to the fanaticism. So it is important.
Hare Krishna. Yes, very good.
Just one small question. Mataji did say about the analogy that lighting a matchstick in a storm. In a storm. So for which this one she said this analogy?
Maya.
No.
Okay, for for doing devotional service in Kali Yuga.
Bhakti.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Then in the last for the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra on for okay. Okay, the common name for our names, what is the difference for Krishna's name to our name? She gave an example also. Even though we recite how many times our materialist name, it doesn't make any this one. Whereas Krishna's name, you recite on what basis?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Kala Mataji is saying. Yes.
Krishna and Krishna's name is not abhinna. It's the same. When we say one name, unlike our name, we can't appear, but Krishna is there. Krishna's and Krishna's name are same. Krishna himself is there through the sound.
Yes, thank you very much. So you can see how fortunate we are. We can contact God so easily, isn't it? The Supreme Lord, who's not available through all these dhyana, karma, and all that, is available just by chanting. Bhakti Yoga, Shravanam, Kirtanam. Immediately we are contacting him. So we are very, very fortunate. We should remember that when we're chanting, here Krishna is appearing. So let me not think of something else. When he's come, it'll be insulting him. So let me give my attention to his name.
Can a Jnani get connected to Krishna quickly?
Bahunam Janmanam Ante. After many, many lives. Then only it comes to the understanding. If he starts chanting, yes, Jnani can also, but he has to come, switch.
Mataji, you answered it.
Oh, acha. Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, can anyone say that again? It's okay. And added question is, what is the qualification to get the mercy of the Lord in this Kali Yuga?
Hare Krishna, can I tell?
Yeah, please.
So here, as Mataji told, it leads to gain this spiritual knowledge. It needs a lot of birth, lot of devotional service, and at the end, after a lot of janmas, one gets this spiritual knowledge, and one who identifies is a Mahatma. And what was your second question, Mataji?
Yeah, what is the qualification to get the mercy of the Lord in this Kali Yuga?
In the Kali Yuga, it is specifically told that who is the most sinful, who doesn't care, give him your most mercy. And the person who pretends that he knows everything about the Lord, he comes in the second consideration. So in the Kali Yuga, I think it is the most easiest way for us to get his mercy.
That's it, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Mataji.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing. Can I tell?
Yeah, sure. Please do.
For the first question, what Mataji asked, the qualities of soul. So from the second adhyaya 13th shloka, Dehino asmin yata deha kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehandara praptir dhiras tatra na muhyadi. So in which it is clearly mentioned that our body passes through Kaumaram, Yauvanam and Jara, then once die, soul passes from one body to another to perform the activity. So intelligent person should not be bewildered with such process, such happenings. So this is one among the qualities. Soul passes on, never dies. It exists even in the 12th shloka. It is mentioned that na tvevaham jatu nasam na tvam neme janati paha na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayamata param. There was never a time that I never existed, nor you, even the kings, everyone was there. So don't worry, they will never die. Soul is permanent. They will always be there. This is one among the most important quality. And Nainam Chindandi, she already, Mataji already told. Yeah. And one more thing I just want to add. Mataji had question while chanting Hare Krishna, how can one control this thing? Maybe I can give my example if you allow.
Yes, go ahead.
So I started chanting very recently. It's hardly 2 months right now. So one among my qualities, I'm very aggressive person. I'm very aggressive person, and if I want to get things done, I needed to get it done anyhow. So I go and get it done, and I'm certain things I cannot bear. I just get it done anyhow, and very aggressive and short-tempered as well. But I still remember the day since I started chanting, specifically at morning 4 o'clock. Any other times it's not possible, but morning 4 o'clock, the day when I started chanting, the many situations came in on that day, came in front of me, which should I should have shouted or my temper should have loses, but it was very natural. From that day, I'm in my control. I don't know. It is not forcefully I've done. It comes very naturally. The only thing is that you need to give up early and you need to do it. But that morning thing is very important, I think so. Any time after 6 o'clock, not possible, but early morning, it is super important. I think that is the key. Only that I wanted to share. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, thank you for sharing. Really, early morning lifts our consciousness to the mode of goodness. Very important. And thank you for giving that, sharing your experience. So, Shweta, tomorrow 6 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Granth Raj ki jai. Vancha kalpatarupesya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah ananta koti Vaishnava